Mic check, 1, 2. 20 minutes before first pitch. And a pleasant good Friday afternoon here from the Midlands in Columbia, South Carolina. We are here for the AAC matchup of the weekend. It's Columbia International hosting Milligan here at Miller Field, and we are set to go underway. Brandon Marcello, the second baseman for Milligan, will step in from the left side. Justin Parrish winds and fires straight down Broadway for strike one. Parrish, the junior out of Decula, Georgia. The righty has an .850 ERA on the season. He winds and fires, sends on the 0-1. Chop back foul to the backstop for strike two. Marcello, a freshman of Yorktown, Virginia, hitting .340 on the season. He stands in 0-2. Parrish brings up the left knee, winds, fires. Marcello will take it high and inside for ball one. Partly cloudy skies, 79 degrees here in the Midlands. Parrish, the 1-2. In the dirt and a one-hopper to Hernandez in the battery for ball two. And for Marcello, who was quick down in the count, 0-2, now has 2 balls, 2 strikes. Base is empty here as we lead off the first inning. Marcello awaiting the 2-2. Parrish winds and fires. Missed inside. Marcello took it for ball three. .34 hits and 12 walks on the season for Marcello. Awaiting the payoff pitch. Parrish now. The 3-2. Chopper to Bottison at short. Rolls off the tip of his glove into shallow left. He'll run out to retrieve it. But a leadoff single from Brandon Marcello will put a man on here with no outs in the top of the first inning. Anthony Guzman now, the left fielder for Milligan, a .353 batter here in 2021, a sophomore out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He's got one man on over at first. That's Marcello after the leadoff single. Parrish peering towards home. Winds and fires. Missed high for ball one. Two-0 count here to Guzman. Morello over at first. Parrish sends home the 2-0. Bunted foul to the third baseman, Gonzalez, who came charging into the infield grass, tried flipping over to first, slips out of his hand. And what was intended to be a sacrifice bunt to move the runners over will now go down as an error, I do believe, with 2 runners on. Back-to-back singles here to lead off the top of the first inning. No outs of a scoreless ball game. Runners at first and second. Chancery Hall now at the plate, standing in from the left side. First pitch he sees from Justin Parrish, hit right back to the pitcher's mound. He'll flip over to Bleasdale at first in time for out number 1. But the runners will advance to second and third. And now Milligan with a cleanup batter stepping into the box. The Buffaloes, runners at second and third, both in scoring position, with Milligan threatening early. Parrish with runners at second and third. Peters towards home. Now sends home the first pitch to Chancery Hall, straight across the plate. Hall will take it for strike one. Parrish trying to get out of this jam. He's got one out on the board. Sends home the 0-1. It was low and away in the dirt. for ball one. Brandon Spano, a freshman out of Greeneville, Tennessee, playing first base today for Milligan, stands in from the left side. Swung on and missed for strike two, high in the zone. One ball, two strikes here to Spano. Runners at second and third, one down here in the top of the first inning. This will be a big out here for Parrish as he tries to keep runs off the board. He winds and fires, sends home the 1-2, popped up into opposite field into right. Bell moves over to make the grab. Runners will tag. Bell will relay the throw in to Bottison in the infield dirt, but one run will score. Morello comes home from third on the sac fly from Spano. Now his 27th RBI of the season has given Milligan a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first inning. Justin Green, now the center fielder, will step in from the right side. Righty on lefty matchup here. He'll take ball one high and away from Parrish. Green, a .346 hitter on the season, 44 hits and 32 RBI. Standing in a 1-0, pops that one up high into the air. Gonzalez moves over from third into foul territory, still on the grass, but he'll bring it in for the third out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the first. Milligan will strand runners at third. However, they go up 1-0 here on the CIU Sports Network when we come back. Back here on the CIU Sports Network on a beautiful, partly cloudy Friday afternoon in the Midlands. 1-0 is our score. Milligan leading Columbia International in our AAC Series of the Week after the Buffaloes brought across a run on a sacrifice fly RBI from Brandon Spano back earlier in the top of the first. On the mound for Milligan will be Jacob Crumley, a junior out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. The left-hander in 8 appearances this season with a 2-1 overall record, pitching in 26 2/3 innings, allowing 15 earned runs, walking 8 and striking out 26. For Columbia Internationals, Rafi Gonzalez, Josh Hernandez, and Grant Bottison, the scheduled hitters here in the bottom of the first. And I must say, Jacob Crumley on the mound. What a show. Long, majestic hair, rocking the goatee as well. He winds and fires to the first pitch of his outing. Gonzalez will take it low and away, low and inside, rather, for ball one. Crumley now with a 1-0. Brings up the right leg. Straight down Broadway, taken for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Rafi Gonzalez. Crumley misses high and away for ball two. Gonzalez, a freshman of Batesburg, South Carolina. Awaiting the 2-1. Popped up high in the air. The shortstop, Saucedo, moves over into the infield dirt, closer to third to bring it in for the first out of the inning. Josh Hernandez, now the talented junior catcher out of Columbia, South Carolina, the hometown kid, will step in batting second in Columbia International's order. He'll step in now on the left side. 336 hitter on the season with 42 RBI, courtesy of 12 long balls. 12 homers on the season for Hernandez. The first pitch now from Crumley. Paint to the outside edge, taken for strike one from Hernandez. Crumley now with an 0-1 count from the stretch. Pop back into foul territory right behind us here at the backstop for strike two. Hernandez quickly down in the count, 0-2. With one out here in the bottom of the first inning. 1-0 is our score. Milligan leading Columbia International. Breaking ball from Crumley, misses high for ball one. With Grant Bottison on deck. Crumley sends home the 1-2, and it's swung on and missed from Hernandez for the first strikeout of the afternoon for Jacob Crumley, and the 27th of his 2021 season from the mound. Now Grant Bottison, the senior shortstop out of Walterboro, South Carolina, transfer in from Florence Darlington Tech, a very talented player, actually drafted out of high school, hitting .217 this season through 5 games. He'll take strike one on the outside edge. Crumley actually fell off the mound, slipped a little bit, I believe, once his back foot came down. Now back on the pitch. He winds and fires on the 0-1. It'll miss low for ball one. Crumley now with 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's going to hit Bottison just in the torso. So that'll put a runner on here with 2 down in the bottom of the first inning as Bottison was hit by the pitch. And now the cleanup batter, Robert Bell, the junior out of Palm Coast, Florida, will step in, hitting .248 this season with Bottison over at first. Bell steps in on the right side now. Lefty on lefty matchup here. Crumley looks over to first, now peers towards home. Breaking ball. Off speed. Down and low for ball one. Crumley now with the 0-1. Bell takes it over but low for ball two. Trujillo stands on deck for Columbia International here, trailing 1-0, the bottom of the first inning. Bell with 2 balls, no strikes, the count. Crumley peering over to first, now towards home. Hard chopper back foul. What looked to be a hard chopper quickly died off into a slow roller towards the home dugout. 2 balls, 1 strike to Bell. 29 hits, 29 RBI on the season for the junior. Grounder up the first baseline. Crumley will flip to first. It won't be in time. Bell is safe on the infield single. It'll move Bottison over to second. He was going on the throw. And now the Rams are in action here. A 2-out single from Robert Bell has put 2 runners on for the 5th batter in the order. Cody Trujillo in the bottom of the first inning. Rams trailing 1-0. Trying to battle their way back into this one before we head over to the second. Milligan got that early lead courtesy of a sacrifice fly. The Rams trying to do some damage here with 2 outs on the board. Trujillo, senior out of Greenville. Runners at first and second. Bottison, the lead runner at second base. Crumley winds and fires, taken out and away from Trujillo for ball one. Crumley now trying to get out of this jam for Milligan. Looks back towards second, now peering towards home. Sends home the 1-0. It's over but low for ball two. Gabe Austin, the powerful sixth hitter in the lineup for Columbia International, stands on deck. 2-0 is the count at the plate. Crumley winds, fires, paints the inside edge, taken for a strike by Trujillo. Crumley, not a guy who's going to flash high on the radar gun, but his breaking ball can fly all over the zone. Runners at first and second here with 2 down. Trujillo with a 2-1. Crumley winds, fires, misses high for ball 3. Crumley quickly falling behind in the count from the mound now. 3 balls, 1 strike to the second baseman, Trujillo. 2 outs on the board, 2 men on the base paths, first and second for Columbia International. 3-1 on the way, popped up high in the air from Trujillo, out into shallow center field. Green trying to move up to make the play. Instead, it's Hall going to dive for it out in right field. He can't hold on to it. The runners will run around, and a run-scoring double from Cody Trujillo brings Bottison across the plate to score and tie this game up at 1 apiece and put a runner 90 feet from home for what would be the go-ahead run in this one. Gabe Austin, now the left fielder, 6th batter in the order for Columbia International, step in from the left side. And they are officially going to rule that an error out in right field. With runners at second and third, Austin's first pitch is popped up high into the air. Spano moves up the first baseline to bring it in for the 3rd out of the inning. Well, Columbia International will strand 2 runners at second and third, but they do bring a run across the plate as Cody Trujillo popped one high into right field. The right fielder Hall couldn't hold on to it. It goes down as an error, and a run will score. All tied up at 1. We hit at the top of the 2nd inning as Milligan and Columbia International looks like to be a battle here early. Our score tied up at 1 apiece here on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network, your home for Rams baseball. All tied up at 1 here on this partly cloudy Friday afternoon in the Midlands. Milligan and Columbia International in the AAC Series of the Week. For Milligan, Kirby Smith, Casey Hare, and Augustus Fraley, the scheduled batters here. As Smith will step in from the left side. The first pitch he sees, a hard hit ball out into left center field. Carter Willis, the center fielder, back along the warning track, couldn't make the grab on the wall, and a leadoff stand-up double from Kirby Smith has Milligan in business here early. Coming on as a courtesy runner for Smith at second will be Ben Grable, a freshman of Weaverville, North Carolina. Casey Hare at the plate now. Standing in from the right side, he'll take strike 1 across the lower half. No outs here in the top of the 2nd inning of a tied ball game at 1. Parrish peering back towards second, now delivers towards home. Hard hit ball down to right field, elevated as Robert Bell backs up to the warning track. He'll bring it in for the first out of the inning, but not before Grable will tag up over to third. Augustus Fraley now the designated hitter, a sophomore out of Greeneville, Tennessee, hitting .370 on the season. Milligan tied up at 1 here with Columbia International. They have the go-ahead run just 90 feet from home. Parrish winds and fires. Fraley chops that one foul for strike one. That's going to go down for a base hit out into left field. And an RBI single for Augustus Fraley has given Milligan the 2-1 lead here in the top of the second inning. Unless we're going to have an offensive shootout here on this Friday afternoon. Now the ninth batter in the order, Robert Saucedo, sophomore out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. The runner over at first and one down. Parrish winds and fires from the mound, bunt straight back to Parrish on the mound. He throws to second to Bottison. And the throw was high. Bottison had to leap into the air to grab it, tried bringing it down for the tag. And indeed, I believe he got the tag. In that case, Saucedo will reach on the fielder's choice and put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the second. 2-1 is our score here at Miller Field. And indeed will be the call as Fraley is tagged out at second after what would have been a 1-out bunt from Saucedo will go down as a fielder's choice. Now back around to the top of the order, Brandon Morello, the second baseman, 1 for 1 here today with a single. Parrish, quick check bag over to first. Saucedo back safely. Parrish now the first pitch towards home. Sent down the third base line just fair. Austin moves into the corner out in left field. Saucedo rounds third. The throw home now from Modesto is going to hit Saucedo in the back. So he'll be safe. The runner over to third, that'll be Morello, and an RBI triple from Brandon Morello extends Milligan's lead to 3-1 here in the top of the second inning. Anthony Guzman now, the sophomore out of Las Vegas, Nevada, will step in from the left side. Milligan posting 2 runs on the board here in the top of the second. They lead 3-1 over Columbia International. And they are just 90 feet away from extending that lead to 3 runs with Morello at third. The first pitch to Guzman will be over but low from Justin Parrish for ball 1. Parrish now winds and fires. Straight down Broadway for strike 1. With a runner at third and 2 down. Guzman pops that one into foul territory over along the first baseline. Bleasdale moves over to make the grab for out number 3. Courtesy of an RBI triple from Brandon Morello, Milligan takes a 3-1 lead over Columbia International here in the top of the second inning. We head to the bottom frame when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network, Milligan leading Columbia International here in the AAC Series of the Week. 3-1 is our score here on a partly cloudy Friday afternoon. Buddy Bleasdale, Alex Miller, and Carter Willis, the three scheduled batters for Columbia International. 7th, 8th, and 9th batters in the order for the Rams. Bleasdale will step in first from the left side. The senior out of Manning, South Carolina, hitting .238 on the season. Jacob Crumley back on the mound for Milligan. He winds and fires. And misses low and away for ball one. Bleasdale trying to cut into Milligan's 2-run lead here in the bottom of the second. Crumley missed on the inside. 2 pitches thrown and a 2-0 count to Buddy Bleasdale here to lead off the bottom of the second. Crumley winds and fires. Just paints the inside corner on the bottom half of the plate for strike one. Once again, painting the corners is Crumley. As now he goes from the left corner to the right corner and evens our count up at 2 apiece. Now sending home the 2-2. Bleasdale, chopper to the third baseman. Hare, he flips to first for out number 1.
One out coming to the plate, designated hitter, Alex Miller.
Alex Miller now the designated hitter in his first at-bat of the series. Crumley. A bunt hit right back to him, and Miller's thrown out over at first for out number 2. Quick 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the second inning for Columbia International now as the 9th batter in the order, Carter Willis, sophomore out of Piedmont, South Carolina, will step in from the right side. Lefty on lefty matchup here. Crumley from the mound. Taken for strike one on the inside by Willis. Willis showed bunt, pulls back as the pitch missed inside for ball one. Crumley now on the 1-1. Low and away for ball two. Crumley was over but low on that one. Now 3 balls, 1 strike to Carter Willis. Bases empty here and 2 down in the bottom of the second. Crumley on the 3-1. Pitch missed inside, and a 5-pitch walk will put Carter Willis on a free 90 walk and bring us back around to the top of the order for Rafi Gonzalez. 0 for 1 in this ball game, but a .284 hitter on the season with 29 hits and 18 RBI in 2021. With a runner over at first and 2 down here in the bottom of the second inning. 3-1 is our score. Willis running on the base pass now. Smith, the throw was high and won't be there in time. And for Carter Willis, now his 15th stolen base of the season. Even more impressive, he is 15 for 15 on the base pass. First throw to Gonzalez was out and away for ball one. So a 1-0 count back at the plate. With Willis standing at second, Columbia International trailing 3-1. Gonzalez steps in on the right side. Lefty on lefty matchup here. Crumley peering back towards second, now towards home. He delivers the breaking ball high. There's Smith, the catcher, had to come off his knees to bring it in. Crumley once again checking the runner at second, now towards home. Gonzalez can't make contact. It'll go down as Strike one. And Carter Willis definitely in the mind of Crumley on the mound. Crumley's looked back towards second quite often since the stolen base. Now on the 2-1, it was low. Smith does a good job of keeping it in front of him in the infield dirt to keep Willis at bay at second. But Gonzalez now well ahead of the count. 3 balls, 1 strike to the freshman. 2 down here in the bottom of the second inning. Milligan leading 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Crumley on the way. Missed high. And back-to-back 5-pitch walks from Jacob Crumley has put runners at first and second here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. And now the tying run stands over at first with the go-ahead run. Josh Hernandez making his way to the plate. 0 for 1 in this ball game with a strikeout back in the first. If there's a guy that you want to bring runs across the plate, it's going to be Hernandez. 39 hits on the year, 42 RBI, not to mention 12 homers. The junior out of Columbia will try to cut into the 2-run deficit that Milligan has. 3-1 is our score. The first pitch from Crumley misses outside and away for ball 1. Grant Bottison standing on deck if Hernandez can keep this inning alive. Back-to-back 2-out walks for Columbia International. Has runners at first and second. Hernandez at the plate. Crumley from the mound, peering towards home. Looks back towards second. Now winds and fires. High hit ball out into left center field. It's going to bounce once off the wall. 1 run will score. Gonzalez comes around third. He's now headed towards home. The throw won't get there in time. And a 2-out, 2 RBI double from Josh Hernandez ties this one up at 3 in the bottom of the second inning. We're going to see a mound visit here from Milligan. 3-3 is our score, all tied up here in the bottom of the second inning. And Josh Hernandez picking up now his 44th RBI of the 2021 season, scoring 2 on a 2-out, 2 RBI stand-up double that bounced once off the left center field wall right across the script of Miller Field. Grant Bottison will step in from the left side once the mound visit concludes. The senior out of Walterboro, South Carolina, transfer in from Florence Darlington Tech. Back in the first inning, he was hit by a pitch in the torso. A very talented player, actually drafted out of high school. He's hitting .217 this season through 5 games with 5 hits and 3 RBI. He stands in from the left side. Crumley remains in the ball game. First pitch to Bottison, pop back foul for strike 1. Corley Cheeks coming in as a courtesy runner for the catcher Hernandez at second. Bottison at the plate with an 0-1. Pops that one high into the air. The center fielder Green comes over into right center on the run to make the grab for the 3rd out of the inning.
The Rams scored 2 to tie the game, 3-3.
Columbia International will strand 1 runner at second, but they will tie this ball game up as well. 3-3 is our score as we head to the top of the 3rd inning, as Josh Hernandez with a 2-out, 2 RBI double has put Columbia International right back in the ball game. We head to the top of the 3rd inning, all tied up at 3 when we return on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network, all tied up at 3 here in Columbia. Milligan and Columbia International battling here on the diamond in this series opener on a partly cloudy Friday afternoon, and what has been so far a battle of anything you can do, I can do better. Milligan, it seems like every time they take the lead in this ball game, Columbia International right there to respond. After the first inning, we're tied up at 1. At the end of 2, we're now tied up at 3. And we head to the top of the third with Milligan once again thinking that they've just taken the lead, now having to regain it. Justin Parrish remains on the mound for Columbia International as Chancery Hall, Braden Spano, and Justin Green, the scheduled batters for the Milligan Buffaloes. Hall 0 for 1 in this ball game, but Spano was initially that guy who put Milligan ahead early with a sacrifice fly that brought home a run back in the first inning. But that seems like ages ago in what has been a offensive shootout ever since. Hall, a .304 hitter on the season, the sophomore out of Johnson City, Tennessee, with 35 hits and 35 RBI. 6 homers on the year, not to mention as well. Hernandez will come out now and step into the battery, and we'll get things going here in the top of the third. Chancery Hall, the right fielder, will step in from the left side. Taps his foot once apiece on the bat. And now we're ready to play baseball. Base is empty here and no outs as we lead off the top of the third. Parrish winds and fires. Over but low for ball 1. Parrish now on the 1-0. Popped high into the air. Hernandez moves back. But as he sees the ball will sail out of the playing area. Now on the 1-1, breaking ball missed on the inside for ball 2. Parrish now from the stretch on the 2-1. Taken high for ball 3 now. Hall at the plate. Hall tied up at 3 here in the top of the third. Parrish now on the 3-1, pop back towards the backstop netting for strike 2. Three balls, 2 strikes. Parrish winds on the payoff pitch. Breaking ball got him on a swing and a miss. High in the zone. And an inning opening strikeout for Justin Parrish has put 1 out on the board for Braden Spano, the first baseman for Milligan, a freshman of Greeneville, Tennessee. Had a sacrifice fly RBI back in the first inning. Time call from Hernandez at the plate as we're tied up at 3 here in the top of the third. Spano now stepping back in on the left side. Parrish, the righty from the mound, winds and fires. Spano frustrated with that one as he pops it up into the infield. Trujillo comes up to make the grab for out number 2, but once Spano saw that one come off the inside of his bat, you could hear a big eruption of angst. A quick 2 up, 2 down thus far for Justin Parrish. Now he'll face Justin Green, the center fielder, standing in on the right side. Over but just low from Parrish for ball 1. Green 0 for 1 in this ball game, a .346 hitter. Elevates that one into foul territory behind us for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike now to the junior out of Bakersfield, North Carolina. Base is empty here with 2 down. Parrish sends home the 1-1. It missed out and away for ball 2. Pop back foul once again for strike 2. A 2-2 count now to Justin Green. As he battles to keep this third inning alive for the Milligan offense. All tied up at 3. Bases empty and 2 down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The count at the plate. Parrish from the mound now. Winds and deals. A one-hopper in the dirt for ball 3. A full count now to Justin Green. 44 hits here in 2021 with 32 RBI. Stands on the right side. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 down. Bases empty for Milligan. Parrish, the payoff pitch. Elevated into right field, but Bell moves over to make the grab for the third out of the inning. A 3-up, 3-down frame for Justin Parrish. As we head to the bottom of the third, and Columbia International, for the first time in this ball game, has a chance to take the outright lead instead of battling from behind. All tied up at 3. We hit the bottom of the third when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Bottom of the third inning here in Columbia. Robert Bell, Cody Trujillo, and Gabe Austin, the scheduled batters for Columbia International. Crumley from the mound, the first pitch here in the bottom of the third. Taken for strike 1 from Bell, high and on the inside half of the zone. A quick 0-1 count. Crumley now from the windup. Pitch in the dirt for ball 1. 3-3 ball game here in the bottom of the third inning. As Columbia International and Justin Parrish held Milligan scoreless in the top of the third. The first frame, they've done that thus far. Crumley now from the 1-1. Taken for strike 2. Straight down Broadway from Robert Bell. 1 for 1 in this ball game with a single back in the first inning. The junior out of Palm Coast, Florida. Crumley on the 1-2. Popped high in the air from Bell into opposite field out in left. Many players moving over. Guzman was the lead guy coming out of left. He slides into the foul territory dirt just in front of the bullpen trying to make the play. Baseball will sail out of play, though, and into the bullpen fence. So a lot of effort to stay at a 1-2 count. Bell hitting .248 on the season with 29 hits and 29 RBI. He stands in on the right side. Trujillo standing on deck. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Crumley winds and deals. Breaking ball was fouled back towards the backstop netting as Bell is battling here with 2 strikes. Crumley sends home the 1-2. And Bell will let it sail outside for ball 2. A tough pitch to take as that one was a near miss. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Crumley, the downhill, swung on and missed on an inside pitch from Bell. will put a strikeout on the board, the second of the ball game for Jacob Crumley, his 28th of the season, and the first out of this third inning. Cody Trujillo now with one out on the board will step in for Columbia International on the left side. Crumley winds and fires. Pitch taken on the outside edge from Trujillo for strike one. Crumley now on the 0-1. Pitch came over, but it was low. Trujillo will let it sink for ball one. Gabe Austin standing on deck. The 1-1 from Crumley will miss high and away for ball two. Crumley's breaking ball really struggling to find the zone here against Trujillo. It's once again missing high for ball three. 3-1 the count at the plate to the senior out of Greenville, South Carolina. Trujillo, a .298 hitter on the season. That's second best for the Rams. He stands in under the 3-1, pops it back foul for strike two. Crumley now from the stretch on the payoff pitch, fouled back from Trujillo as he stays alive at a full count. Three balls, two strikes. Crumley from the stretch. Hard hit ball down the third base line. And he'll drop into the corner out in left. Trujillo rounds first. He's being aggressive. He goes into second for a sliding one-out double to put Columbia International in scoring position with one out. On a sliding double from Cody Trujillo will bring Gabe Austin, the left fielder and the sixth batter in the order for the Rams. He's 0 for 1 in this ball game. The kid's got power and can easily bring home Trujillo on a base hit. The 10th double of the season from Trujillo. Now as Austin stands in on the left side. Crumley peering towards home. Now back towards second. He winds and fires. Popped high into the air from Austin out into left field. It's going to be in a foul territory. If he can straighten that out, the Rams will take a 2-run lead. Here's we're tied up at 3. About 30 feet to the right, and that ball's over the left field wall in fair territory. Oh, 0-1 the count to Austin. Pitch from Crumley misses on the inside for ball one. Straight down Broadway from Crumley for strike two. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Gabe Austin. Senior out of Summerville, South Carolina. .281 hitter here in 2021. Buddy Bleasdale stands on deck for Columbia International. All tied up at 3. And a 1-2 count. Breaking ball popped up out into right field. Hall moves back to the warning track to bring it in for the out. Trujillo will tag up over to third. And Gabe Austin's sac fly out into right brings the runner just 90 feet from home for Buddy Bleasdale here with 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. Bleasdale 0 for 1 in this ball game. Senior out of Manning. A runner at third. Crumley winds and fires. Pitch was low and in the dirt, but Bleasdale tried checking his swing. Umpire's going to say he went a little bit too far for strike one. Crumley now from the stretch on the 0-1. Pitch paints the outside edge for strike 2, and Bleasdale quickly behind in the count. 0-2. Alex Miller, the designated hitter, standing on deck. Trujillo 90 feet from home at third, all tied up at 3. The 0-2 pitch from Crumley missed on the inside for ball 1. Crumley now, that pitch is going to sail high and away for ball 2. Columbia International trying to take their first lead in this ball game. A runner at third. 2-2 count with 2 outs. Bleasdale will take it on the outside edge, just out of the zone for ball 3. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. The payoff pitch. It's going to catch Bleasdale on the inside corner, and he'll take it for strike 3. Thought he had a walk. Instead, the third strikeout of the ball game for Jacob Crumley is a big one, as it keeps the go-ahead run for Columbia International just 90 feet away from home. Trujillo stranded at third. With 3 frames in the books, we head to the top of the 4th inning, all tied up at 3 apiece here in Columbia. Milligan and Columbia International battling it out here in the AAC matchup of the weekend when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network, your home for Rams baseball, all tied up at 3 here in the AAC series of the weekend, as Milligan and Columbia International all notched up at 3 runs apiece. Kirby Smith, Casey Hare, and Augustus Fraley, the 3 scheduled batters for Milligan. And Justin Parrish back on the mound for the Rams. He winds and fires. First pitch fouled hard down the first baseline, out of play from Smith for strike 1. Smith 1 for 1 in this ball game, had a double back in the 2nd inning. He would later score a run. Senior out of Fayetteville, Tennessee. On the 0-1, Parrish winds and fires. It's going to be a soft chopper as Gonzalez charged on the infield grass from third to flip to first in time for the first out of the inning.
Third baseman Casey Hare.
1 out here in the top of the 4th inning for Casey Hare, the sophomore out of Maryville, Tennessee. He'll step in from the right side now, with the bases empty and 1 down. Parrish, the righty, from throwing on downhill. It'll miss out and away for ball 1. Strike 1 taken from Hare. Even our count up at 1 apiece. Hare once again takes it on the outside edge for strike 2. Bases empty here and 1 down in the top of the 4th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Righty on lefty now. Parrish winds and fires. It was over but low and in the dirt for ball 2. Now on the 1-2, Parrish. A soft chopper in the infield grass. Gonzalez charging over from third. Flips to Bleasdale at first. In time for the second out of the inning. Back-to-back grounders to Gonzalez at third, where he's had to come into the infield charging and flip to first. The throw has been there in time on both hits. Augustus Fraley now the designated hitter. He's 1 from 1 today with an RBI single back in the second. He stands in on the left side with the bases empty here and 2 down in the top of the fourth. Parrish sent it home, and it's just going to miss on the outside edge to the right for ball 1. A dribbler to Gonzalez at third once again. Can he flip to first in time? Yes, he will. What an inning for Rafi Gonzalez over at third base. 3 balls hit his way, 3 outs chalked on the board. 3 up, 3 down inning for Justin Parrish as well from the mound as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Back-to-back scoreless innings posted from Parrish. He seems to be finding his groove. We'll see if Columbia International's offense can do the same and take the lead for the first time when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Alex Miller now chops that one to the second baseman. He'll flip to first in time for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Center fielder Carter Willis.
Carter Willis now the 9th batter in the order for Columbia International. Drew a walk in his only at-bat of the ball game back in the 2nd inning. Crumley now is first pitch sent home. Willis will foul it back off of the catcher's face. The catcher, Kobe Smith, seems to be perfectly okay, but strike 1 goes on the board. Crumley from the windup and the delivery. Willis showed bunt. He drops it down in the dirt. Crumley jogs over to the first baseline, flips to first. It won't get there in time. The speedy Willis puts a runner on base with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Back to the top of the order, third baseman Rafi Gonzalez.
And that should go down as a single, at least in my book it does, for Carter Willis. And back around to the top of the order with Rafi Gonzalez, the freshman out of Batesburg, South Carolina, a guy who really didn't look like he was going to get his shot on the varsity level this year. Coach Johnson told us they actually put 2 guys in front of him, gave him chances. Each of those 2 guys didn't work out. Gonzalez gets his shot, and he has blossomed. In the leadoff hole this season, hitting .284 with 29 hits and 18 RBI. And he's got 3 more years of ball left in him. With a runner over at first, Willis, 2 quick check bag throws. He's back safely on each of them. And with 15 stolen bases in a season, already won today, you can understand why Crumley is keeping an eye on the base paths. Willis creeping off the plate. He's running towards second. They're going to try to tag him out. and they will get him. And the second baseman shortstop combo of Morello and Saucedo were fired up about that one. The first time Carter Willis has been tagged out this season on the base pass. And what started out as a 15 for 15 run for Willis now ends. The base is empty and 2 outs now. Rafi Gonzalez, the first pitch he's going to see, is taken high and away for ball 1. Crumley winds and fires on the 1-0. Taken on the inside half of the plate, high in the zone from Gonzalez at the letters. Crumley now on the 1-1. Pitch a one-hopper in the dirt to Smith in the battery for ball 2. Once again, pitch over but low from Crumley for ball 3. Pitch miss high and a 5-pitch walk from Rafi Gonzalez will give the Rams a base runner here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. The second walk of the ball game drawn by Gonzalez. Josh Hernandez now, the second batter in the order, the hometown kid out of Columbia, the junior for Columbia International, will step in on the left side. Gonzalez over at first. Hernandez hit a 2 RBI double back in the second inning and tied this ball game up at 3, and that's where we've stood ever since. 3-3 is our score. Bottom of the 4th inning, first pitch taken high, right along the eyes from Hernandez. Crumley now will throw over to first to Gonzalez. He'll jog back safely, not creeping too far off of the plate, or base rather. 1-0 the count of the plate. 2 men down, 1 man on over at first. That's Gonzalez. Hernandez still awaiting the second pitch of his at bat as Crumley will throw over to first. Gonzalez back safely with plenty of time to spare. Crumley now peering towards home. On the 1-0. He winds and deals. Lasered out into left center field. It's going to drop for a 2-out base hit single. And Gonzalez round second. He's going to slide into third. The throw was dropped by the third baseman, Hare. Hernandez will move over to second. And a 2-out fielder's choice double from Josh Hernandez puts runners at second and third now for Grant Bottison. 0 for 1 in this ball game, was also hit by a pitch in the first. Cheeks will come in as the courtesy runner over at second base for the catcher Hernandez. And Gonzalez, aggressive on the base pass. What should have just been a base hit single, he tags up 2 bags to move over to third. Now the Rams have 2 in scoring position with 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 3-3 is our score. Bottison at the plate. First pitch he's going to see from Crumley will drop out of the zone and drop out of the catcher's glove as well for a ball, but Smith did a good job of blocking it to keep it in front of him and keep the runners at bay at second and third. Bottison, a senior out of Walterboro, South Carolina, 217 hitter on the season. Crumley from the stretch. Breaking ball right across the plate for strike 1. Rob Bell standing on deck for Columbia International if Bottison can keep this 2-out rally alive. All tied up at 3 here. The Rams trying to get their first lead in this one as they've played from behind or tied it up through the first 3 frames. Bottison lasers that one into straightaway center, but Green comes up to make the grab, and the Rams strand 2 runners. After a 2-out fielder's choice double from Josh Hernandez, the Rams can't come up with anything as we head to the top of the 5th now with 4 in the books, all tied up at 3 here in the Midlands. When we come back on the CIU Sports Network, we'll see if Milligan can go ahead and take the lead in the top of the 5th inning when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network at Miller Field in Columbia, South Carolina, all tied up at 3 here in an AAC series opener between Milligan and Columbia International. The Buffaloes and the Rams tied up at 3 runs apiece as Saucedo, Morello, and Guzman, the 3 scheduled batters for Milligan. Saucedo will stand in first, and the first pitch from Justin Parrish will miss high for ball 1. Parrish pitching very well today for Columbia International. Sent home the 1-0. Once again, missed on the inside frame now. Had that along the strike zone level, but on the inner half of the plate for a 2-0 count now. That one once again missing just outside of the zone, high at the letters for ball 3 from Parrish. Robert Saucedo, a sophomore out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. The 3-0 on the way, straight down Broadway for strike 1 for Justin Parrish. Base is empty here and no outs to lead off the top of the 5th. Parrish from the stretch will miss high in a leadoff walk from Robert Saucedo on 5 pitches. Will give Milligan a runner on base with no outs to lead off the top of the 5th inning. Back around to the top of the lineup, and Brandon Morello, the freshman second baseman of Yorktown, Virginia. He stands in on the left side. Parrish checks Saucedo on the base pass over at first. He slides back safely. Now redirecting our attention towards home. Parrish winds and fires. Pitch missed on the inside for ball. Now a 1-0 count. Parrish struggling to find the strike zone here to start out the 5th. 5 of the 6 pitches thrown have been out of the zone. Parrish will check the bag once again as Saucedo will slide back safely. Parrish trying to find that strike zone here. Facing a 1-0 count on the way. Once again missed high. Now 6 of the 7 pitches thrown from Parrish have been out of the zone here in the 5th. Morello, however, a .340 hitter on the season. He's 2 for 2 in this ball game with a single, a triple to go along with an RBI. Now a 2 on the way. Fouled down the first baseline. That was a hard line drive. And strike 1 will go on the board. 2 balls, 1 strike here to Morello. 1 runner on. That's over at first. That's Saucedo after the leadoff walk. And he'll be checked on the base pass. He'll slide back safely on the throw over from Parrish. The 3rd time that Saucedo has been checked on the base pass here in the 5th. Morello lined that one once again into foul territory, but this one into left. Back-to-back fouled balls from Brandon Morello. 1 down the first base line and 1 down the third base line. He stands in on the left side with his count evened up at 2. Parrish peering back towards first, now sending it home. Morello popped that one into the air, into center field. Willis moves over to make the grab. Saucedo will jog back over to first as the first out of the inning goes on the board. Anthony Guzman now, the left fielder for Milligan. He's 1 for 2 in this one with a single back in the first inning. Saucedo standing over at first, just a few feet off the bag. Wanting to creep just a little bit more. Parrish, however, will send towards home. First pitch swung on and elevated out into left field. Gabe Austin moving up into shallow left to bring it down for the second out of the inning. And a quick 1 pitch out for Justin Parrish puts 2 men down here in the top of the 5th. All tied up at 3. Chancery Hall, the right fielder, 0 for 2 in this one, but a .304 hitter batting in the 3-hole for Milligan. He's got a runner over at first. That's Saucedo after the leadoff walk, and once again, Saucedo checked bag. He'll slide back safely. 3-3 is our score here in the top of the 5th inning. Parrish from the mound. Hall at the plate awaiting the first pitch. The first one he's going to see will be high and away for ball 1. Parrish now on the 1-0. Pitch missed low in the dirt. 2-0 the count now. Saucedo over at first with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. Milligan trying to retake the lead, all tied up at 3. 2-0. The count at the plate, and you now make it 2-1 as Parrish dropped one over but low as Hall chased it out of the zone for a strike. 2-1, Parrish checking Saucedo once again over on the base pass. He'll slide back safely. That's got to be the 6th time that Parrish has thrown over to Saucedo at first following the leadoff walk. Hall at the plate, however, 2-1 the count. Parrish lines and fires, laser down into left. Austin on the run, makes the grab. The senior left fielder brings in the 3rd out of the 5th inning, and that could have been dangerous. Saucedo was already just about 5 feet from third when Austin brought in that grab. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning, still tied at 3. That's been the story since the 2nd, and we'll see if Columbia International can get some offense going when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network, and to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning, Milligan will roll out a brand new arm on the mound, a freshman right-hander out of Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's going to be Gabe Austin, pitching in 33 1/3 innings this season with a 6.75 ERA. He replaces Jacob Crumley, who went 4 innings with 5 hits, allowing 3 runs. The scheduled batters here in the bottom of the 5th inning will be Robert Bell, Cody Trujillo, and Gabe Austin for Columbia International. Bell will step up first, the junior out of Palm Coast, Florida, trying to get things going here in a ball game tied up at 3. We've been tied at 3 since the 2nd inning, and it looks like this was going to be an offensive shootout to begin with, as a tit-for-tat start in this one. But we've held nearly 3 scoreless frames ever since. Bell will take a first pitch breaking ball strike on the inside from Allison. Righty on lefty matchup here. Allison from the mound sends home the 0-1. It missed on the inside and low. Now on 1-1 count. Bell lasers that one down the left field line. It's going to fall into foul territory. Bell trying to send in that one opposite field. Robert Bell, a guy who Rams head coach Jonathan Johnson calls one of the purest hitters he's ever seen. Easily one of the top 20 hitters in America. Bell facing the 1-2. A hard swing and a miss as he can't make contact on the breaking ball changeup. And he sat down on strikes. First strikeout of the inning and of the ball game for Gabe Austin. Puts it out on the board here in the bottom of the 5th, and I'll take Cody Trujillo to the plate from the left side. Allison lines and fires. Just missed on the right side edge for ball 1. Allison now with a 1-0. A ball taken low and in the dirt for a 2-0 count now. Two nothing. The count at the plate, and you can now make it 2-1. A hard swing and a miss there from Trujillo with one out here in the bottom of the fifth. Two balls, one strike to Trujillo at the plate. He stands on the left side, all tied up at 3 here in Columbia. Allison, downhill on the way, taken for strike 2 just across the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes here to the senior out of Greenville. Trujillo 1 for 1 in this ball game with a double back in the third. Facing the 2-2, he elevates that one into center field. Green comes up into right center, shallow, to make the grab for the second out here in the fifth.
Number 34, left fielder, Gabe Austin.
Gabe Austin now, the left fielder for Columbia International, 0 for 2 in this ball game, batting in the 6th hole. Buddy Bleasdale will stand on deck if Gabe Austin can keep this 5th inning alive with 2 down and the base is empty. First pitch he sees. He's going to send down the left field line out into foul territory. Once again, if Austin can straighten that out about 30 feet to the right, that's going to be over the wall in fair play. Austin with 4 homers on the year and 25 hits. Facing the 0-1. He pops that one out into shallow left as Guzman will move up to make the grab for a quick 3-up, 3-down inning for the new Milligan pitcher, Kobe Allison. We stay tied at 3 through 5. We get to the top of the 6th inning. 3-3 is our score here on the CIU Sports Network. Top of the 6th inning here in Columbia. First pitch from Parrish on the way. High hit ball out into left field. Austin moves his way back to the warning track, and he'll bring it in for the first out of the inning, but Braden Spano was about a foot away from his 4th homer of the season. Instead, it goes down as out number 1 here in the 6th. Justin Green, now the center fielder for Milligan, will step in 0 for 2 in the ball game, with pop-outs in the 1st and 3rd. Parrish from the mound now. First pitch will miss high and away for ball 1. Justin Green now with a one-out single out into center field as that one will drop in front of Willis.
Catcher Kirby Smith.
The first hit of the ball game for Justin Green. And he'll give Milligan a base runner here with one down in the top of the sixth. Kirby Smith, the catcher for the Buffaloes, a senior out of Fayetteville, Tennessee. 1 for 2 in the ball game with a double back in the second inning. Ball game tied up at 3. Parrish now lasered out into right center field. Green's going to round second and head towards third. Bell comes up with it out in right. And a one-out single from Kirby Smith now puts runners on the corners for Milligan. And the go-ahead run just 90 feet from home for the Buffaloes with one out on the board.
Third baseman Casey Hare.
Ben Grable will pinch run over at first base. At the plate is Casey Hare. The first pitch he's going to see is low in the dirt. Hernandez, a good job of blocking it there, but the runner will advance over to second. That was Grable. So now runners at second and third with one out in the top of the sixth. 1-0 the count. Hare pops it up high into foul territory. Gonzalez moves up just near the battery almost to bring it in from third base. And out number 2 goes on the board. A tough pop out there for Casey Hare.
Designated hitter Augustus Fraley.
Now we'll leave runners at second and third and put 2 outs on the board. 3-3 is our score here in the top of the sixth inning. Tied at 3 since the third. Parrish from the mound now, and at the plate is Augustus Fraley, the designated hitter. 1 for 2, hit an RBI single back in the second. He'll take strike 1 down Broadway, but already an RBI in this one, trying to add on another one and give Milligan a lead. 0-1 the count, runners at second and third. Parrish breaking ball, hangs low for ball 1. Parrish now, that live fastball dropped in the zone for strike 2. Parrish, lots of movement from the mound. Runners at second and third on the 1-2. That splitter missed on the inside. 4-2. A runner at second and a runner at third for Milligan. Tied up at 3, 2 down and a 2-2 count. Fraley at the plate. A blooper out into shallow left. 1 run will score. The throw now home. 2 runs will score. Fraley heads towards second, and a 2-out, 2 RBI double from Augustus Fraley will score 2 runs for Milligan and give the Buffaloes a 5-3 lead here in the top of the 6th inning over Columbia International.
Now batting shortstop Robert Saucedo.
Robert Saucedo now, the 9th batter in the order for Milligan. Drew a walk back in the 5th. With a runner at second now and 2 down, Saucedo will take ball 1 inside at the letters. Parrish peering back towards second. Now looks towards home plate with 2 down on the board and 1 runner on at second. Saucedo, a soft grounder to Bottison at short, flips to Bleasdale at first. In time for the 3rd out of the inning. What started out in a tie ball game since the 2nd inning, Milligan has opened this one up to a 5-3 lead now, courtesy of a 2-out, 2 RBI double from Augustus Fraley. Milligan leading 5-3 now as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning We'll see if Columbia International can do what they've done all game long and respond to Milligan's offensive attack when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network in Columbia, Milligan leading Columbia International in this AAC series opener. 5-3 our score as we head to the bottom of the sixth inning. Buddy Bleasdale, Alex Miller, and Carter Willis, the three scheduled batters for the hosting CIU Rams. Bleasdale 0 for 2 in the ball game thus far, hitting .238 for the senior out of Manning, South Carolina. With Suga Suga by Pusha T blaring over the sound system, Buddy Bleasdale will step in from the left side. Base is empty here and no outs to lead off the bottom of the sixth. Kobe Allison winds and fires from the mound. His breaking ball will be taken by Bleasdale for strike one straight across the plate. Allison now fires home. Pitch dropped into the dirt for ball one. Bleasdale with a 1-1 count. Allison sends home. The 1-1 popped high into the air from Bleasdale. The first baseman Spano charging up the first base white line to bring it in for the first out of the inning.
Now hitting number 9, designated hitter Alex Miller.
Alex Miller now the DH and eighth batter in the order for Columbia International. A senior out of McBee, South Carolina, 0 for 2 in this ball game, will step in from the right side. Base is empty here and one down in the bottom of the sixth. 5-3 is our score. Milligan leading Columbia International here at Miller Field. Allison takes a deep breath, now winds and fires. Breaking ball dropped across the plate, but out of the zone for ball one. Allison now sends home the 1-0. Fouled back by Miller towards the backstop for strike number one. Miller, a .273 hitter on the season. 9 hits and 11 RBI. 1-1 all the way. Straight down Broadway and taken for strike two by Miller. Kobe Allison retiring all four batters he's faced in relief of Jacob Crumley here for Milligan. And a swing and a miss on a pitch straight across the plate from Miller will give Allison his second strikeout of the afternoon in just 5 batters. Carter Willis, the 9th batter in the order for Columbia International, will now step in. The center fielder 1 for 1 in the ball game with a single, was also walked back in the second. He stands in on the right side. First pitch he'll see from Allison. Once again, that breaking ball he likes to favor comes across the plate for strike one. 0-1 the count. Willis tomahawks that one to the second baseman, Morello, who flips to first in time for the third out of the inning. A quick 3-up, 3-down outing for Kobe Allison and Milligan. They take a 5-3 lead into the top of the 7th when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network from Miller Field in Columbia. Milligan leading Columbia International 5-3 here in this series opener in AAC play. Brandon Morello, Anthony Guzman, and Chancery Hall, the 1, 2, 3 batters in the order for Milligan. The scheduled hitters here for the Buffaloes. Parrish back on the mound for CIU. The first pitch on the way, popped high into the air and shallow left. Austin charging up to make the grab for out number 1. A quick one pitch out for Justin Parrish to lead off the top of the 7th inning. Anthony Guzman now 1 for 3 in the ball game with a single back in the first. He'll take one practice swing. Will tap home plate twice with the black bat and now take his stance. Parrish on the way, pitch missed over but low for ball 1. Partly cloudy skies, 79 degrees here on this Friday afternoon. Parrish once again. Pitch came across the plate, but it was high at the letters for ball 2. Guzman, a .353 hitter on the season. He stands in on a 2-0 count. Parrish finally able to find the strike zone as he brings it across the plate. Strike 1 taken by Guzman. 2-1 the count now to the sophomore out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Base is empty here, 1 down to the top of the 7th. Parrish's pitch on the way and hit back to the shortstop, Bottison, who will flip to first in time for the second out of the 7th inning.
Right fielder, Chance Hall.
Chancery Hall now, with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning, will step in from the left side. He's 0 for 3 in this ball game, but a .304 hitter on the season out of Johnson City, Tennessee. Parrish winds and fires, popped high in the air into foul territory by Hall. Base is empty here, 2 down in the top of the 7th inning. 5-3 is our score. Parrish, the 0-1 on the way, taken for strike 2, straight down Broadway from Hall for strike 2. 5-3 is our score. Milligan leading Columbia International. Parrish now sends home the 0-2. Skied out into center field. Carter Willis will move up into shallow center to bring it in for the 3rd out of the inning. A quick 3-up, 3-down frame for Justin Parrish as it's time to stretch here in Columbia. We head to the bottom of the 7th with Milligan leading Columbia International 5-3. We'll see if the CIU offense can be just as efficient as Justin Parrish was to lead off the 7th inning from the mound when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network, bottom of the 7th inning here at Miller Field with Milligan leading Columbia International 5-3 here in the Midlands.
Off the bottom of the 7th, third baseman Rafi Gonzalez.
And to lead off things here in the bottom of the 7th inning, we're back around to the top of the order for Columbia International. In the leadoff batter, Rafi Gonzalez. Kobe Allison from the mound. He winds and fires. Pitch on the way, missed at the letters and on the inside for ball 1. 5-3 is our score here. Allison now on the 1-0, straight down Broadway for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Rafi Gonzalez. 0 for 1 in the ball game with 2 walks. Allison 1-1 all the way. Popped back foul from Rafi for strike 2. Gonzalez, a .284 hitter on the season, freshman out of Batesburg, South Carolina. He stands in from the right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the board, no outs. Pitch on the way, missed high for ball number 2. Allison peering towards home. He winds and fires on the 2-2. And Rafi Gonzalez battling here with 2 strikes. He'll foul that one off to stay alive. Of course, on April the 9th, we take a look back on this date in baseball history, where the first game was ever played at Fenway Park back in 1912, where the Boston Red Sox beat Harvard 2-0. Not to mention also on this date in 1965, Mickey Mantle hit the first ever indoor home run at the Astrodome in an exhibition game. And for all of you basketball fans, in 1994, Michael Jordan made his professional baseball debut for the Birmingham Barons. It didn't go so well for MJ. Hitless in his professional debut. Gonzalez stands in from the right side. 2-2 the count. Allison winds and fires here. They're going to check his swing. And it looked like Gonzalez went for it. Umpire says he held back. And that'll bring the count up to full. 3 balls, 2 strikes here with no outs to lead off the bottom of the 7th inning. Allison dealing the payoff pitch. Missed on the inside and a leadoff walk for Rafi Gonzalez. The 3rd drawn walk of the day by the freshman and 29th of the season will give Columbia International a base runner here with no outs to lead off the bottom of the 7th. 5-3 is our score. Now Josh Hernandez, who's 2 for 3 in this ball game with a single and a double to go along with 2 RBI. The second batter in the order for the Rams. Steps in from the left side. Gonzalez over at first after the leadoff walk. Allison now takes one deep breath now from the stretch. His pitch will miss high and away for a ball. Grant Bottison standing on deck. Hernandez at the plate. A 1-0 count. Slider caught the outside edge from Allison. Taken for strike 1 by Hernandez. One ball, 1 strike, no outs, and a runner on over at first for Josh Hernandez as the pitcher Allison will check Gonzalez over at first. Rafi slides back safely and now take 4 steps or so off the bag. He leans back towards first as Allison will check the bag once again. Gonzalez will slide back safely. Back to the plate we go. A 1-1 count to Hernandez. Allison winds and fires. And the splitter missed high for ball 2. Two balls, 1 strike to Hernandez. 1 man on, no outs. Pitch on the way. A blooper into shallow left. Guzman charges up to make the grab as Gonzalez will have to hustle his way back over to first. And that ball was about a 50-50 shot of dropping for a short base hit single out into shallow left on a blooper from Hernandez, but Guzman comes charging up to make the grab and put out number 1 on the board. With Rafi Gonzalez, the lone base runner, standing over at first and 1 man down, Grant Bottison, the shortstop, will step in from the left side. Allison checked Gonzalez on the base pass once again. Rafi's back safely. Bottison, a .217 hitter on the season. He's 0 for 2 in this ball game. Was also hit by a pitch back in the first. He stands in on the left side, still waiting the first pitch in this at bat. He'll call time with one out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. We've had a great day at the ballpark today. 5-3 is our score. Milligan leading CIU. With one man down, the first pitch on the way to Bottison will miss outside for ball one. Bottison, a senior out of Walterboro, South Carolina. Transfer in from Florence Darlington Tech. A very highly touted junior college here in the Palmetto State. With a runner over at first, he's facing a 1-0 count. Pitch on the way, lasered straight into the glove of the third baseman, Hare, and he will rocket that one to first. Gonzalez was on his way well to second on the hard hit ball. And a double play flipped by Casey Hare will finish things off and put 7 frames in the books. What a play there by the third baseman. Not only the grab, but the throw as well. Nonetheless, we head to the top of the 8th inning. 5-3 is our score. Milligan leading Columbia International when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Back here on the CIU Sports Network as we get things going here in the top of the 8th inning. We do have a new pitcher on the mound for Columbia International. It's going to be Hunter Garris coming in relief of the starter Justin Parrish, who went 6 innings, allowing 3 earned runs off of 5 hits while striking out 1 and walking 1. The first pitch from Garris on the way, missed on the inside edge as Brandon Spano, the first baseman, stands in from the left side now with a 1-0 count. Garris with 1 ball on the board, winds and fires, pop that one back foul for strike 1. Base is empty here and no outs to lead off the top of the 8th inning. Spano at the plate with a 1-1. He skies that one out into center field. Willis moving over towards left center to make the grab for the first out of the 8th.
Center fielder Justin Green.
Justin Green now the center fielder for Milligan. And the 5th batter in the order for the Buffaloes will stand in with 1 down. Kirby Smith, the catcher, will stand on deck. Green 1 for 3 in the ballgame with a single back in the 6th. Garris, the lefty, on the way. Pitch was going to miss on the outside, but Green chased it out of the zone on the running bunt, trying to catch the infield off guard. Can't make contact, and will go down for a strike. With 1 down, and the count at 0-1. Garris missing out and away for a 1-1 now. Garris's pitch was low and in the dirt, just out of the zone for ball 2. Green at the plate with a 2-1 count and 1 down here in the top of the 8th. popped foul on a shallow dribbler down the first baseline for strike two. Base is empty here and one down in the top of the 8th inning. 5-3 is our score. Milligan leading CIU. Garris's 2-2 pitch is on the way. Just foul tipped from Green. I thought he had him on strikes. Nonetheless, Green battles here with 2 strikes. A 2-2 count. Base is empty and one down. Garris winds and fires and sends home the 2-2. He'll get him there. A swing and a miss as he chased one out of the zone from Garris. The first strikeout of the ball game for Hunter Garris as Green is retired. Kirby Smith now the catcher for Milligan. 2 for 3 in the ball game, with a single and a double. He'll take the first pitch high for ball 1. Smith will once again take it high. Now a 2-0 count. Popped high into foul territory. Gonzalez moves over to make the grab. And that'll be the 3rd out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Milligan still leading Columbia International 5-3 when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Bottom of the 8th inning, Robert Bell will stand in from the right side. Kobe Allison back on the mound for Milligan. 5-3 is our score here in the bottom of the 8th to lead things off. First pitch on the way. Breaking ball over the plate but low for Rob Bell for ball 1. Allison now on the way. A hard swing and a miss on the left half of the plate from Bell for strike number 1. Bell 1 for 3 in the ball game with a single back in the first inning to go along with 2 strikeouts. The junior out of Palm Coast, Florida, pitch on the way. Missed out and away for ball 2 from Allison. Now a 2-1 count to Bell. Trujillo stands on deck. Gabe Austin in the hole. The 3 scheduled batters here for Columbia International. And Bell will get a base hit single to lead things off in the bottom of the 8th inning with a dribbler out into shallow right to put a runner on for Cody Trujillo. Cody Trujillo, the second baseman for Columbia International and 5th batter in the order. 1 for 2 in the ball game with a double. With a runner over at first in Rob Bell, he stands in from the left side. First pitch from Allison over the plate, but it will drop out of the zone for ball one. Gabe Austin standing on deck. With a runner over at first and no outs in the bottom of the eighth. Trujillo on the 1-0. Pitch will get past the catcher Smith. Bell makes his way to second on the pass ball. And Columbia International has a runner in scoring position. And Trujillo heading the count 2-0. Trujillo with 20 RBI on the season and 31 hits as he tries to cut Milligan's deficit in half. The Buffaloes leading Columbia International 5-3 here in the bottom of the eighth. Bell standing at second and a 2-0 count at the plate. Pitch on the way from Allison. Paints the bottom outside corner for strike number one. Milligan bullpen is starting to become active. Allison has a runner in scoring position. Trujillo at the plate. Allison's 2-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Chased out of the zone from Trujillo for strike two. And just as Cody Trujillo was ahead in the count 2-0, we've evened things up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'll readjust the gloves. Take a look at the bat one time and now step in from the left side. Bell standing at second, no outs here in the bottom of the eighth. 2-2 on the way. Popped up out into left field towards the third base line. The left fielder Guzman comes over to make the grab. Bell will stay at second. And out number one will go down in the books on the fly out to left from Cody Trujillo. Gabe Austin now the left fielder for Columbia International. 0 for 3 in the ball game is the senior out of Somerville, but a .281 hitter on the year with 25 hits, 13 RBI, and 4 homers. With the man standing at second and our score at 5-3, Milligan leading Columbia International. Gabe Austin will take a first pitch strike on the right half of the plate. The 0-1 on the way. Austin elevates that one out into left. Bell will jog back to second. Back-to-back pop-outs to left field for Columbia International. Will leave Rob Bell at second base and put 2 outs on the board. We do have a pinch hitter now for Columbia International as Jalen McDuffie will step in from the right side. Checking into the lineup for Buddy Bleasdale. Bleasdale was 0 for 3 in the ball game. Now McDuffie will get his first swing at things. 5-3 is our score. Milligan leading CIU. Robert Bell stands at second. McDuffie at the plate awaiting the first pitch. It's on the way. It just misses low for ball number one. The count now with 2 down. McDuffie will take that one straight down Broadway for strike number one. McDuffie out of nearby Irmo, South Carolina. Trying to cut Milligan's lead into half. 5-3 is our score. Allison's 1-1 on the way. Paints the outside left half of the plate. 4 strike. As McDuffie takes strike 2, our count's brought up. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes. With Bell standing at second and 2 men down, McDuffie at the plate. The 1-2 on the way from Allison. Dropped out of the zone and low for a ball. Smith did a good job of keeping that one in front of him in the battery and keeping Bell at second. With Columbia International trailing by 2, the tying run at the plate is Jalen McDuffie here in the bottom of the 8th. With Bell at second, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Allison winds and fires. Chopper into foul territory down the first baseline as Jalen McDuffie is battling here to stay alive at a 2-2 count. Two balls, two strikes, and two men down with the runner at second. On the way. Swing and a miss as McDuffie chased one low. And Colby Allison will end the 8th inning with a big strikeout as Columbia International will leave Rob Bell stranded at second. And we head to the final one in the books. Top of the 9th we go. 5-3 is our score. Milligan leading Columbia International when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Top of the 9th inning we go here in Columbia. Hunter Garris back on the mound for CIU, and the 7th, 8th, and 9th batters in the order due up for Milligan. The first one to step in from the right side will be Casey Hare, and he'll take ball one as it dropped outside and away from Garris. Now a 1-0 count. Hare 0 for 2 in this ball game. 262 hitter on the season. Garris struggling to find the strike zone here and misses on that one as well. 2 balls and nothing for Garris. Hare, a sophomore out of Maryville, Tennessee, at the plate. 2-0 on the way as he pops that one out into center field. Carter Willis moves over to make the routine grab for out number 1.
Number 5, designated hitter, Augustus Fraley.
Augustus Fraley now the designated hitter for Milligan. And he's had himself quite a day. 2 for 3 in the ball game to go along with a single and a double, not to mention 3 RBI here today. Brings him to 14 total on the season. He stands in from the left side. Garris now winds and fires. A hard chopper to Gonzalez at third. He moves his way into the infield grass, flips to first, and Bleasdale there to make the grab for the second out of the inning. 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the 9th. As Columbia International is trying to keep the deficit at 2 runs, with Milligan leading 5-3. Eric Rigsby, a sophomore out of Jonesboro, Tennessee, will pinch hit for Milligan here with 2 down in the top of the 9th inning. Base is empty. Garris' first pitch on the way. It's fouled back out of play down the first base line for strike 1 from Rigsby. 26th at bat of the season for Rigsby. 370 hitter. He stands in from the left side. 0-1 the count. Garris winds and deals. Pitch missed high at the letters for ball 1. These two teams 6th and 7th in the AAC standings. Milligan with the upper hand. Chopper into foul territory down the third base line from Rigsby for strike 1. Make that strike 2 now for a 1-2 count. Rigsby standing in from the left side. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 men down. Base is empty in the top of the 9th. He pops that one foul up the first base line, up and out of play. as he battles and stays alive here with 2 strikes. Garris finally gets a pitch he likes. From the windup now, the 1-2. And a 2-out single just over the head of the second baseman. Trujillo will drop into right field for Eric Rigsby.
Second baseman Brandon Morello.
And back around to the top of the lineup for Milligan here with 2 down in the top of the ninth. The leadoff batter, Brandon Morello, who's 2 for 4 in the ball game with a single and a triple to tag along with an RBI. A runner over at first and 2 down. Garris' first pitch on the way. It misses high and away at the letters for ball 1. With a runner over at first, that's going to be Eric Rigsby after the 2-out single to right. Garris checks the runner over at first. He'll get slide back safely. 5-3 our score here in the top of the ninth. Columbia International bullpen is active out in right field. If Garris can finish this one off, 1 out away from heading to the bottom of the ninth, trailing by 2 runs. Morello checked his swing. They're going to say he went for it, and that'll be strike 1. Brandon Morello now will step back in from the left side, the freshman of Yorktown, Virginia. A .340 hitter on the season. He's got a runner over at first. Garris will check that runner. Rigsby slides back safely. 1-1 the count at the plate to Morello. Garris will once again peer towards Rigsby, who creeps over off of first. Garris now focusing his attention towards home. Sends home the 1-1. Lasered out into right center field. Willis on the run. Makes the grab for the 3rd out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the ninth. The last hope for Columbia International as they trail by 2 runs. 5-3 is our score. Milligan leading Columbia International. But when we come back, it'll be the 8th, 9th, and leadoff batters in the order for Columbia International to try to cut the deficit down and walk this one off when we come back on the CIU Sports Network. Bottom of the ninth inning here in Columbia, and a new pitcher will start things off for Milligan here as they're 3 outs away from a series opening win over Columbia International. Brian Baxa, a redshirt freshman righty out of Danville, Kentucky, will take to the mound as he faces the 8th, 9th, and leadoff batters in the order for Columbia International. Alex Miller, Carter Willis, and Rafi Gonzalez, the scheduled gentlemen to take to the box and try to erase this 2-run deficit that the Rams are facing, with Milligan leading 5-3 here in Columbia. It'll be Miller due up first. He's 0 for 3 in this ball game. Senior out of McBee, South Carolina, hitting .273 on the season. And if there's one goal for Columbia International at this point, it's simply to get on base. Miller will step in from the right side, readjust his blue helmet, take one quick practice swing with a red bat. Now he's ready to play. Baxa, the first pitch from him in this ball game on the way. He winds and fires straight down Broadway, a heater. Fouled back for strike 1. Baxa, a hard-throwing closer. The 0-1 on the way. Once again, back-to-back swings and misses right across the plate from Alex Miller as he's quickly down in the count 0-2. Baxa winds and deals on the 0-2. Miller just catches a piece of it. He'll foul that one back towards the backstop netting and stay alive at an 0-2 count. 0-2 to Miller. 2 down here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Bases empty to lead things off. Baxa's pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. He got him to chase one slightly out of the zone. And Alex Miller goes down swinging on strikes. The first strikeout of the ball game for Brian Baxa and the first batter he faces. And puts the first out on the board here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Milligan now just 2 outs away from a win. They lead 5-3. Carter Willis now from the right side. Baxa winds and fires. Pitch catches and paints the outside edge on the left side of the plate for strike one. Baxa now deals the 0-1s. A swing and a miss from Willis on straight down Broadway for strike two. One down here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 5-3 is our score. 0-2 the count. Willis lines that one down the third baseline towards the visiting dugout, and a few Milligan players just able to get out of the way as that one ricocheted off of the visiting dugout fence. Willis stands back in. 0-2 with 1 down. Baxa's 0-2 pitch on the way. Fouled back, and Willis is battling here with 2 strikes. Sophomore out of Piedmont, South Carolina. He's 1 for 2 in today's ball game with a single and a walk. 0-2 the count. 1 down in the bottom of the 9th inning. Bases empty for Willis. Awaiting the 0-2. It's on the way. Fouled back once again. 3 straight foul tips for Carter Willis as he continues to battle with Baxa. Willis will tap the base twice. And now Baxa comes home on the 0-2. Tomahawks it to the second baseman in the infield dirt. Flips to first in time for out number 2. Columbia International down to their last out. Milligan leading 5-3. We're back around to the top of the order in Rafi Gonzalez. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game, but he's drawn 3 walks ever since. 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, and 1 in the 7th inning for the freshman of Batesburg, South Carolina. With 2 down, he'll foul the first pitch he sees out of play down the third base line. With Josh Hernandez standing on deck, if Rafi Gonzalez can keep this inning alive, he gives Columbia International a chance. Can't make contact there as that one was straight across the zone. Swung on for strike two rather. With 2 down in the bottom of the 9th. 0-2 on the way from Baxa. Pitch was low. Over but low. I think Gonzalez will take it for ball 1. Bases empty and 2 down in the bottom of the 9th. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 down. Baxa on the way. Just fouled off on the tip of the bat from Gonzalez down the third base line. Barely caught a piece of that one to stay alive. Columbia International down to their last strike, trying to cut this deficit in half. 5-3, Milligan leading in the bottom of the 9th with 2 down. And the 1-2 missed high. And on the outside edge from Baxa to even our count up at 2 apiece. 2-2 on the way from Baxa on the mound. Chopper into foul territory from Rafi Gonzalez, and you can't say the Rams won't go down fighting. Rafi Gonzalez battling here. Count up to 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 men down in the bottom of the 9th inning. Baxa winds and fires. It's going to miss out and away. Gonzalez very patient at the plate, not something you see too often from a freshman. He is showing great maturity here in the bottom of the 9th inning, not collapsing under the pressure. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 men down in the bottom of the 9th. Payoff pitch on the way from Baxa. It's hit high into right field from Gonzalez. The right fielder Hall moves over to make the routine grab, and that will be the ball game. Our final score here in Columbia, Milligan defeats Columbia International 5-3. And with the win, Milligan will move to 22-14 on the season, 10-8 in the AAC. And with the loss, Columbia International will fall to 17-20 here in 2021 and go to 9-10 in the conference. With game one in the books of this weekend series, we'll get things back going coming up tomorrow, starting with a doubleheader scheduled with first pitch at noon. Now, there is rain in the forecast for tomorrow afternoon, so we could see that start time possibly pushed up into the early morning hours. Not quite sure. That's obviously above my pay grade, but please stay tuned both to CIURams.com as well as on Twitter at CIURams for scheduling updates ahead of tomorrow's doubleheader. Whenever we get things started tomorrow, I'll be here with you at Miller Field to get things going as we wrap up games 2 and 3 of this weekend series, hopefully pending inclement weather. Final score here in game 1, Milligan defeats Columbia International 5-3. From all of us here at CIU, we hope you have a safe and happy weekend. We hope to see you back here tomorrow for game 2. I'm Kate Crenshaw saying good night, and as always, remember to smile.